Welcome into another exciting edition of Locked On 76ers. His name is Keith Pompey. My name is Marc Farzetta. Today we're going to be discussing Jared McCain's role in this 76ers upcoming season. Feels like he's been the forgotten man, Keith. We'll tell you why he needs to make his presence felt in the upcoming season on this edition of Locked On 76ers.
You are Locked On 76ers, your daily Philadelphia 76ers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome into Locked On 76ers. Yes, your team every day. And we thank you for making Locked On 76ers your first listen every day. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. This particular episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Football season around the corner. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now. And we'll tell you why the date August 26th has a lot of meaning to the big bettors on FanDuel. Keith, yesterday, our fearless leader, Nick, shot me a text message, and he asked me a question about the 76ers making the playoffs in the upcoming season. I thought, first and foremost, if the Sixers have a healthy roster, they're absolutely, forget about just making the playoffs. That's not the bar. The bar is winning an NBA title. It's making it out of the Eastern Conference. But then you start thinking about not having faith in Paul George and Joel Embiid staying healthy for a good bulk of the season. And if that's the case, as we've discussed many times, then we look to Tyrese Maxey. Well, it ain't just about Tyrese Maxey. I feel like, Keith, and maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like throughout this offseason, we've talked about Tyrese Maxey a lot. We've talked about Quinton Grimes, who hasn't even re-signed yet. We'll talk about him a little bit later in this edition of Grimes Watch for today. But we've talked a lot about Quinton Grimes and Kelly Oubre, and we've talked about VJ Edgecombe. All of a sudden, Jared McCain has become the forgotten man. And if the Sixers are going to make any sort of playoff noise in a season that has been as injury-riddled as previous seasons, McCain has to be one of those guys to step up in a major way on the 76ers roster.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And not only does he have to, step up in a major way in regards to being the forgotten one, he's also, no one's really talking about his injury either. We're all focused on everyone else, and no one's talking about McCain, like what he's been up to, where he's at, what he's doing. But, here's the thing. Jared McCain, I don't know if I think he's a starter in this league, right? I don't know if he's a starter on this team long-term with Tyrese Maxey just because of the size that they have, right? Mm-hmm. McCain is listed as 6'2", Maxey's listed as 6'2", and you have other taller guys. However, for the 76ers to be successful, I believe that Jared McCain is going to have to excel in his role, whatever that is. Coming off the bench, giving you buckets. Like, you know what? And I know people may look at it like, he might be better than Lou Will, but I think he has to have a Lou Will type of role for the 76ers to be successful. So, you are 100% correct, man. Like, no one's really talking about him. He's become the forgotten guy. But in order for them to be successful, especially with these injuries, he has to excel.
Yeah, it was like last year he was shut down for the rest of the season before it was trendy with the 76ers to be shut down for the rest of the season. He played 23 games, and we all watched the same thing. If you follow the story of Jared McCain last year, I'll never forget. He starts dropping 30-point games. He had two 30-point games, a 34-point game and a 30-point game last year. But I remember while he was riding this wave, I'm going back to the preseason. I'm going back to training camp. I'm going back to summer league even, where we noted during this past summer league that, hey, don't forget, Jared McCain didn't look so hot in summer league. But then you also think about what Nick Nurse said about him and what Daryl Morey said about him. And it went beyond tempering expectations, Keith. Like, for instance, when Daryl Morey just said, I need the Sixers fan base to be patient when it comes to VJ Edgecombe. He needs to be patient. Everyone be patient and all that stuff. Well, they weren't saying be patient with Jared McCain. They were saying he's going to be a G leaguer. He's going to be up some of the season, down some of the season. And then you see him play 23 games. You're like, this guy just keeps getting better and better and better. His shot selection from the outside is great. His shooting percentage from the outside is great. His free throw percentage was off the charts, like set rookie records and all that. It was unbelievable. And then all of a sudden it was just done. It was over. It was 23 games with the meniscus injury.
Yeah, it was really sad. But the funny part is, like, when we talk about it, you remember when they played Cleveland? It was on November the 13th. And it was one of those things where everybody was looking at it like, oh my God, they're playing the Cleveland Cavaliers. They got Jared McCain and they have nobody else playing, this and that. And the guy had 34 points on 12 for 26 shooting, right? 46.2%. He made 6 of 13 threes in that game. He also had 10 assists. So he had like a 34 and 10 game. To me, that was the game. Now, granted, he played some other games. The game right before that against the Knicks, he had 23 points. But this was a game where he started and he had 34. And then during that 5-game stretch, this guy scored average 26.6 points. From 3, he shot 48% in 5 consecutive starts. Now, he started, I believe it was 7 games in a row, but in those first 5 games, this guy was phenomenal. He shot from the field 51.1%. So to me, when you look at that and he can give that type of offense, and it was guys like Paul George who was basically giving the ball back to him. Like he would pass the ball to Paul. Paul would hit it back to him and he would drain a 3. Those are the things that the 76ers need from him. And I think that, he's a whole lot better than what we gave him credit for during the summer league.
Absolutely. And look, I'll just ask you this point blank. Do you think the Sixers were just setting the bar low to take pressure off of him? Or do you think the Sixers legit thought that this guy was going to be in the G League?
You know what? I felt, here's the thing. I do feel like they felt like he probably would have been maybe, spent some time in the G League, that he would basically have to work his way up through. Because when you look at it, let's think about it. They went out there and got a veteran team last year. They got a bunch of guys who were already experienced, guys who were on playoff caliber teams, guys who won championships. So when you look at Jared McCain, especially when you see how he played in the summer league, you have to say to yourself, it's going to be a couple years. Like he's not there. But you got to give credit for the work ethic, and you also got to give credit for him being a big-time player. And what I mean by that is when the lights came on, he produced. He didn't hide. He didn't run and hide. He was like, I'm going to take these shots, and I'm going to do what I have to do.
Mm-hmm. And that makes me believe that the Sixers really did think, G League player, and that'd probably be the best thing because they did go with a veteran team. And then, as it happens with many athletes, opportunity knocked. You might not have been expecting it, but it knocked, and he answered the door. And man, when he came to the door, he was ready to play. Fearless is a word I'd use to describe like everything I ask of young athletes, even guys that are 20th, 21st, 22nd overall picks, whatever, late in the first round. You're looking at it and you're going, all right, well, what do you got? You're going to get an opportunity here sooner or later. Show me what you got. Certainly don't look like you're too small for the moment. There was never a moment, Keith, where he looked like he was too small. And then I also think about a guy coming out of Duke, and he's kind of got that aura over him or that mystique around him. Could guys from Duke really succeed and all that? And he just went out there and he played his game. And all of a sudden, this shooting, like I was used to seeing mid-range game from him at Duke. The 3-point percentage wasn't really going to jump off the screen to you and all that. But he expanded his game at the NBA level a lot faster than I would have expected a rookie to. He was doing stuff in his first couple of games that I would have expected to see maybe in games, 65, 70 in his NBA career. Now, he hasn't gotten to that point yet, but I'm just saying he was far ahead of the curve when he started playing basketball for the Sixers last year. Now, the other thing is I've been so pleasantly surprised, and thinking back to his season now, I've been so pleasantly surprised by what he did through those 23 games. And no question, those 23 games, if you were to say that the rookie of the year was going to be named then, it would have been Jared McCain. But his handle looked better than I expected. His shooting percentage was obviously better than I expected. His free throw percentage was better. His awareness was obviously a lot better too than I expected. If you had to pick out one thing from Jared McCain to get better at in this offseason, what do you think that better thing is?
I think he has to do a better job of when guys have him on the top of the scouting report, he has to do a better job being able to get to his spots and get shots. Because as good as he looked, right, the final 8 games that he played in, and we talked about those 5 games when he became the starter, and then after that, he started the next 2 games, right? But within after those next two, including this the remaining 8 games, he only shot 29.5% from 3, right? And a lot of it had to do with the way teams were defending them. He had to maneuver it. Like, they were before, they was just like, look, we're going to let you get your shot. We're going to let you do this. And then they started scheming them. So that's the one thing he has to improve on. And where we talked about his scoring average was 26, it was sliced in half to 13. Overall from the field, he shot 41.3%. He averaged 2.3 turnovers during that stretch. So to me, it's just being able to fight through things. So let's keep it real. Like, what happened was he was just so phenomenal early on, to whereas teams had him figured out a little bit, and then he looked like a rookie, right? At certain times. But even with that being said, he had scoring games of 18, 15, 17, 24, during that stretch. So, he'll be fine, but this is just the learning curve that he has to go by. Right. Teams just trying to stack up against him.
Yeah, it's that adjustment that you have to make when the league adjusts to you, that sort of thing.
Exactly.
Here's one thing I do like about the upcoming season for Jared McCain. When you really think about it, his role is not going to change. I don't think. Like, I don't think Quinton Grimes is going to get signed. He's probably going to get signed to the point where he's going to be a starter. Kelly Oubre is going to be in there. Paul George, obviously, all that. Regardless of Paul George or Joel Embiid, I don't see Jared McCain's role changing. His role, I think, is going to be the guy to come off the bench and be that spark plug. The guy to come off the bench and get you some points, some quick points and all that. Whether it's cutting through the lane, whether it's outside shots, whatever. He's just got to look at it as he's got to be, like you said, that Lou Williams type player for the 76ers, and just be the guy to come off the bench that you could rely on to make sure that he can get you points. I don't see him changing at all as the season goes on, with or without Joel Embiid and Paul George, as far as what his responsibilities are going to be.
Yeah, I don't see that. I mean, I don't see that. I mean, because, the thing is, because I think what happened is, I mean, you're going to need somebody to come off the bench, somebody who's going to handle the ball, do other things. Like when we look at VJ Edgecombe at this particular stage of his career, he's more of a slasher, more of a guy that can get downhill, get this, just go to the rim and do certain things and defend. But you're going to need somebody like McCain who's going to be running all over the place, bringing the ball up, setting teammates up, getting to his spots, and then getting the ball passed back to him. To me, it's like when we look at it, if the 76ers are healthy, like we've been talking about how struggling, but when you look at it, that role that he has, and then you also talk about VJ Edgecombe, you can see it like where the bench could be better, just because of these two guys. You have more scoring, more athletic guys coming off the bench. But yeah, I think that, his role is going to be key to the Sixers. And let's face it, there's probably going to be several games that he'll start, just because of injuries, just because of other things. But at the same time, I feel like, he can be someone that's better. And also, I do, for the things that I talked about earlier, those final 8 games when he struggled, I do believe that coming off the bench may benefit him, because they're going to be staggered lineups. There's going to be other guys who are going to basically demand more of a defensive presence, and that's going to enable him to do certain things. And then when you basically switch to him, then he's going to be able to go off and do other things, by getting other guys involved, because he is a good passer. So yeah, he's going to be great for the Sixers this year. Knock on wood that he's healthy. Knock on wood that he's healthy 100%.
Overall, it was 25.7 minutes per game, 15.3 points per game, and also 0.7 steals per game. So showed himself on the defensive side of things as well. And just how about this? 1.6 turnovers per game. That gets back to the heady player and having some awareness as well. When we return, optimism is welcome when it comes to the 10-9-8 76ers, Keith. And how about this? Of all places, the Ringer has some optimism when it comes to the Sixers getting home court advantage, Keith, in the playoffs. We'll talk about that and more when we return. This is Locked On 76ers. Let me tell you about FanDuel. How incredible is FanDuel? August 26th, officially FanDuel Futures Day, a brand new holiday for football fans who live for bold predictions and preseason hunches. For just 24 hours, FanDuel is giving you deals on NFL season predictions. So whether you're calling for the MVP, whether you're calling for a long shot division winner, or ready to crown your Super Bowl champion before week one even kicks off, this is your moment with FanDuel. Maybe like Jalen Hurts this year as the NFL MVP. Maybe Saquon Barkley, the NFL MVP. Maybe Zach Bond goes bananas as a linebacker again this year. Well, you can crown your champion in the month of August as well. And you could parlay a weak division for your dark horse division winner. Visit FanDuel app today. That's right. Visit FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now. August 26th, one day and one day only, because Futures Day at FanDuel is where it's at. August 26th, one day and one day only for your FanDuel futures bets. FanDuel, play your game. I want to give a shout out to this gentleman right here, Keith Pompey. This gentleman's name is Howard Beck, NBA writer, senior NBA writer, as a matter of fact, for The Ringer. All right. Here's what he had to say about the 76ers potentially getting home court advantage in this upcoming postseason for the 2025-2026 season. Here it goes. There is no shortage of talent here if the Sixers can just get through one season without injuries or chemistry issues derailing the team. The doubts are understandable, but the upside is undeniable. There's a world where the Sixers are legitimately good, maybe even great. Again, Howard Beck of The Ringer. Some people might say, "Oh, home court advantage. Oh my goodness gracious, this could be a hot take." I mean, no. If the Sixers are healthy, now I don't believe that that's a hot take. That if the Sixers are healthy, I think is what we all expect. We all are hovering around right now. But if the talent is there, if the talent is available, and the chemistry comes along, then forget about the low bar being whether or not they can compete for a playoff spot. The low bar is whether or not they can come out, Keith, of this version of the Eastern Conference. And Howard Beck also describes that as well, saying, you're looking without Tyrese Halliburton, you're looking without Jason Tatum. Yes, there's still some tough teams in the Eastern Conference, but a healthy Embiid, Paul George, improved Tyrese Maxey, improved Jared McCain, and that 76ers team, they should be a team that should be looking at home court advantage in the postseason.
Look, I love Howard. I've known Howard for a long time. I mean, he's a friend of mine. He's the president of the Pro Basketball Writers Association, but I don't understand that one. Really,
that's that far out for you? That's that far out for you if they're healthy?
Yeah, it's far out. I mean, dude,
really?
Here's the thing. If was a fifth, we all be drunk, right? The thing is, there's two issues that we have.
All right.
We're talking about health. Right now, we don't even know who's going to be at training camp, right? When they start training camp. They're going to have a preseason game in Abu Dhabi, 2 of them against the New York Knicks. We don't know who's going to be on the starting 5, who's going to make the flight, right? Secondly, we talk about chemistry issues. Well, we already have Joel Embiid coming out saying the snitch is back on the team, right? So that's poor chemistry. We have Daryl Morey saying everybody is going to be, he thinks Joel Embiid is going to come back. And then next thing you know, Joel Embiid is saying, no, I'm not rushing back. So to me, it's like, I get it. I understand if all those things are true, but I do not see the 76ers getting home court advantage over all 4 teams. And these 4 teams I'm about to say are the Knicks, the Cavs, Detroit, Orlando, right? And maybe even Atlanta. I just do not see it because of the injury. So now again, like on paper, when we bring everything together on paper, yeah, it all sounds good. But the difference is, and like I get it, Howard isn't in this market, so he can say something like he doesn't know the history. But it's kind of like it's kind of sort of like when you have a cousin who has a substance abuse problem.
Okay.
And we always say, yeah, man, give me this one chance. Just give me this one chance.
Right.
I've changed. And then you give them a 50, and then you don't see your cousin for a year or a month.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So my thing is, I just can't go down that road right now. Like I just can't.
I need to take a small trip. I need to take a little day trip down the road every once in a while just to remind myself that this could be fun. And I don't have to dread the idea of Joel Embiid missing, oh god, another season or postseason. I have to at least, what's down that road? Like I have to just travel down. Oh, look, a little park or something like that, But I get what you're saying. I look.
I don't see it, man. I just don't. I don't.
Yeah.
I just don't see it. I don't see it unless now. Who knows? Maybe he spoke to somebody that said, PG's coming back. Embiid's coming back. Now, the one thing that I will say about good culture is something that I really liked. That Tyrese Maxey, I believe it was yesterday, he had a 6 a.m. workout at the practice facility. Maxey showed up. So did VJ Edgecombe. So did Kyle Lowry. And so did Trendon Watford. They all worked out with Maxey at 6 a.m. at the practice facility. I love seeing that, right? But at the same time, I would love to see PG there. I would love to see Embiid there. I would have loved, now again, they're injured, and I would have loved to see other players there too as well, right? So, my thing is that Maxey, I love what Maxey's doing, but I just feel like that's going out of a limb to say that they're going to get a home court advantage in the playoffs. Dude, that's crazy. We're talking. I don't know, man. I don't know if the Sixers can get home court. Now, are they saying he's saying for the first round, or is he saying for the play-in tournament? Like, what is he talking about?
I thought he said the playoffs, like home court for the playoff, like essentially number one seed type deal.
Yeah, nah.
I honestly, I don't know, but I assume if you're writing home court advantage, I think you're talking about at least for a portion of the playoffs, at the very least. But here's my thing: if Joel Embiid, if I am holding on to any glimmer of hope for the 76ers fan base that this team does well, there are zero excuses for Joel Embiid. Now I know, look, for a lot of people, there's no excuses anyway. But when you put out an article, and you're a big part of that article. Like we've seen stories like this before, and often the person who the subject is in the story, in this case Joel Embiid, you're going to have some say over the way this article is written in one way or another. And there's a reason why I think that there's someone who's writing the article that a lot of us don't know, and it's a great piece. And I'm not downing the writer anyway; they did a wonderful job. But this more so is these are the comments from Joel Embiid's camp. This is the narrative from the Joel Embiid camp more than anything. So you can't have an article like that come out and then where you take responsibility for yourself and you say, I'm not coming back. I'm not rushing back. I'm in charge of this injury. I'm in charge of my body. I'm going to take care of this the way I want to do it. And then come out of it and blame anybody else. So if there's any glimmer of hope in the situation that Joel Embiid, which is also where the Sixers are, waiting for Joel Embiid to see what he can do. If Joel Embiid comes back and he really took his time, waited to come back until he was 100%, and then all of a sudden, Keith, oh my goodness gracious, he's 100%. Well, then, yeah, I think the sky's the limit for this team. But I will also say this about Howard Beck, who wrote the article.
And I love Howard.
Howard's great. It's a great piece.
I love him.
He also goes out there to say, I understand it's not what anybody's betting on. He goes on to say what you and I have been saying for the last couple of months here, which is like, yeah, that's what a lot of people are rooting for, but I don't think anybody's betting on it. It's a pipe dream, but it doesn't mean it's not even the least bit possible that it could happen. I know a lot of people don't have faith. I don't have faith in it, but if you're trying to hold on to any glimmer of hope, it's okay. All right, Joel Embiid, he's running the ship. He's running the show now. It's going to be flourishing or it's going to go order. It's going to be as simple as that. If that's going to be the case, then at least he has that responsibility and he is taking that responsibility. And for people that want to, hold him accountable, there's no better chance for you to hold or for him to hold himself accountable than to say, I'm in charge. And if it's successful, he could take credit. If it's not, well, then he's the only person to blame.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
That's
And, the thing is, and Howard is he's a reputable reporter. Like, it's not like he's some dude who just throws stuff against the wall. Like, the guy covered the Lakers. He covered like the Shaq and Kobe Lakers. And then he came to New York and covered the Knicks. He covered all types of stuff. But I just don't see it. I just don't see it. And like JS says, number 6 seed. I think if they played extremely, extremely well, I think that's their ceiling. Number 6. You know what I mean? Or maybe number 5, number 6. But even that, like, they have to play extremely well because when he's talking about chemistry and health, you see all those back-to-backs they have early on. Like,
yes.
They, as my man Marcus Hayes said, scheduled losses. They got some losses.
That was great. I still love that, by the way. Yeah,
man. So they have some scheduled. Shout out to Doc Rivers, right? But they have some scheduled losses out there, man. Like they do, and so and then they have a tough stretch. I just feel like the way that these games, when they play certain teams, and knowing they have these injuries, I think it's going to be tough for them to be. Again, everybody plays everyone, right?
Right.
But I feel like it's going to be extremely tough for the 76ers to get home court advantage for the playoffs.
I agree. It's going to be tough.
Go to Vegas with that one, bro. Go to Vegas with that one.
I think by the time we're done, Howard's going to be more of my friend than your. No, I'm kidding.
I love Howard, but I just don't. You know what I mean?
Yes. For the record, I don't even know Howard, but I will say, I'm familiar with his writing, of course, but I will say this. I just don't think it's that. If he is walking down the path of, hey, the talent's there, but the health's not. I think that's where a lot of people walk anyway. So I just don't see it as that absolute crazy. You know what I mean? That's where I'm at on it. We're going to get a couple of comments coming up. Also, Grimes Watch coming up. There's one little nugget of speculation that we'll address when we come back. This is Locked On 76ers and the Locked On Sixers YouTube channel. Keith, just before we go any further, hey, has Quinton Grimes been signed yet?
No. Nah, but wait, guess what? As you're about to drop, people are talking about what they think he wants. No, what the team wants to give him.
Oh, what the team wants to give him?
Yeah, isn't that what it is? That's 16, or what he's guaranteed, or what they?
Oh no. This. Oh, I thought you meant the comments. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The Bleacher Report put out the latest speculative argument or speculative report about not a report. I shouldn't use that word. Story about what Quinton Grimes could get. Now, remember, we're following a bouncing ball here. The camp of Quinton Grimes reportedly asked for $25 million. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's adorable, but hey, it's a negotiating ploy. Good for you guys. Then the minimum is the 8.7 that Quinton Grimes could sign this year. Minimum, bet on himself, have a great year, then really sign a major deal after the TV money comes in. So that would be the bottom line for this year, the bottom of the barrel. Bleacher Report put out their story today that, again, is sheerly speculative. 4 years at 16.75 a year. That, I think, is much more in the realm of possibility than anything else. My argument would still be, if I'm Quinton Grimes, I'm signing that 1 year deal at 8.7, and I don't give a damn because I'm going to go ahead and make that money after the TV deal comes in. And I'm still going to have an opportunity to play on this 76ers squad. But I think the happy middle road for everybody, I could see $16.75 million being signed per year on a 4 year deal for Quinton Grimes. What does that look like to you?
That's, it's crazy because if I'm Quinton Grimes and I want 25 and everybody's saying you can get 16.7, whatever it is, or 5, whatever, to 5.
Oh, he should.
You know
Yeah,
what I
you're
mean?
right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
because like the thing is, when we look at it, we keep talking about Josh Giddey, and we keep talking about the guy in Golden State, right? Like, they're going to get Kuminga. They're going to get, like, when they do it, they're going to get 22. Like, Kuminga is probably going to get 20 unless he takes the 1-year deal, right? Because he doesn't want to be there. But they're going to get paid. So Quinton Grimes is like, if this is an opportunity for you to get paid, it is now, because I think no matter what he does, he's gambling. Like, honestly, I feel like if he's going to gamble, like, even if he comes back next year, because here's the crazy part. Yes, the TV deal is going to go up, but they still have that second apron. So the teams that you want to go to are most likely going to have guys already locked up, or their star players are going to try to re-sign them, talking about winning teams. So basically, yeah, you could probably go to a scrub team and get paid, but at the same time, you're still on that scrub team, right? So if you're Quinton, it depends on, like, I'm pretty sure guys want to get paid, but I don't know how much money is he going to command outside after this year, especially if Joel Embiid and Paul George play, because his numbers are not going to be what they were. You understand what I'm saying? And
absolutely right.
And that $16 million that he could have received, heck, man, you could have signed that months ago. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you probably could have got that from who is it? From the Dallas Mavericks. Before you became, before you wanted to get traded to the Sixers. So it's just a lot, man. I don't know. Like, that's a lot of holdout just to get $16 million. Now, again, he may not be worth all that. Some people may say that. Some people, I'm not saying that, but some people may say that. But at the same time, I don't know. I'm trying to get more if I'm him.
Yeah, I think when it comes to the 8.7, which is the minimum there,
yeah,
you're right. It's gambling. But would you rather gamble with 8.7 already in your back pocket, or would you rather gamble with, of course, the idea that maybe you don't make more down the line because maybe you don't play well, God forbid an injury happens. So that's the gamble where you have the 8.7. He's guaranteed 8.7 essentially. Or do you sign the deal and get 16.75, this fictitious deal, right? Do you sign a deal like that, I'll say, and gamble on the idea that the next, 2 or 3 years of that deal, you could be regretting it when guys that aren't as good as you are making more money?
Yeah, and that's the tough part.
That's the gamble.
That's the tough part. That's the tough part, because as much as I'm saying what I'm saying is, yeah, you want to get more, but do you want to give up $8 million and say, I'm going to try to get it back? And what if you don't get it back, right? Like, you give up $8 million and then you only get 16 next year. Or you get, you know what I mean? It's like, you're trying to play catch up. You know what I mean? You're trying to play catch up. And like, the Sixers,
go ahead.
If I'm the 76ers, I really want to sign him. I mean, because when you look at it, we talk about how you already have Maxey, you have Jared McCain, you have VJ Edgecombe, then you have Quinton Grimes. I mean, this is something to build on for the future.
I agree. Jerome is saying, I wish they signed Grimes so they can all work out together. Yeah, when you mentioned Tyrese Maxey getting together. Maxey actually posted one of his workouts at like 6 a.m. He's been a lot more lively on social media these days. I think he did something to do his sink. He tried to repair he tried to change the batteries in his smoke alarm.
What about the dog food?
The dog food, that's what it was.
Yeah.
The dog food and the battery in his smoke alarm. The battery in the smoke alarm, for all the young people out there that have never changed the battery in a smoke alarm, that can be a jarring experience. It's like you're working with a time bomb, it feels like. And he had trouble cracking the code. I'll just say that. Is the blue wire or the red wire? But it was that was an interesting watch. I enjoyed that. There was one more thing on. Oh, there was A just saying playoffs. Sixers aren't making the playoffs. Yeah, you're probably right. Eden the Remix says Nick Nurse doesn't make plans for the rest of the team until he knows 65% of the season is over. and knows for a fact Embiid isn't coming back. He just quits. Ooh. That's throwing some fire there. Do you think that's an accurate assessment, Keith?
I think he's coming back. I mean, who knows? I mean, I think he's coming back. I think he has $200 million reasons to come back.
There you go. Rakesh is putting this out there. I really enjoy McCain's off-ball movement. There you go. I do like that too. Rarely a statue. That's a good point to make. Rarely a statue on the court. He says he doesn't just sit there waiting for the ball to come to him. He also isn't shy to take the elbow jumper, which no one seems to do these days. That's good eyes from you, Rakesh. I like that. Rakesh, excuse me. Thanks everybody in the chat, as per usual. Keith, good times, my friend. Look forward to breaking down.
And then my man Eden the Remix said one thing: you can't count other people's pockets for the lifestyle you're trying to live for yourself. I said, well, unfortunately that is true, but when you're holding out for something like that, the world is counting his pockets about now. So like, I'm sorry, bro. It's like, that's what everybody's talking about. Everybody's saying, well, should they give him this money? Should they not give him money? That's just how it is.
I'm with you. Hey, look, Devontae Smith, Eagles wide receiver, bought like a $600,000 house or whatever it was with the money he's making. You know what I mean? Good for him. Yeah. I'm not counting his money. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that's smart when you think about it. But I wonder what his mansion is going to look like when he goes back home, when his playing career is over with, goes back to Louisiana.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Keith, a pleasure as always. Everyone in the comments, a pleasure as always. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Make sure you guys like and subscribe on Locked On 76ers for you wonderful baseball people out there. We'll be with you guys tonight on Locked On Phillies postcast following the Phillies game 2 against the Seattle Mariners. They took it to the Mariners last night, 12-7. Yeah. You love to see it. They got Christopher Sanchez on the hill tonight, so I look forward to that. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to Locked On Phillies as well. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to everything Keith Pompey is doing, including his articles at Inquirer.com. Make sure you guys are following there and reading them as well. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Back with you guys tomorrow. See you then.